What's up everyone, Lord MC here, and welcome to Track the Harmonic. In today's video, we will be talking about today's price action and what we can expect to see for the remainder of the week with some important data that will be released just before the Christmas break, which is GDP and PCE. But before I get into that, I want to preface by saying I am not a financial advisor. None of the things I say in my video is ever financial advice. So question everything, do your own research, and come out with your own conclusions. So having said that, the SPY finished 1.5% for the day, went as high as 387.41, the low being 382.69, and closing out the day at 386.23. So what can we expect harmonically off of this bearish shark pattern? So coming into the next few days, you did have today an HSI arrow triggered to the upside. Off of the volume was better than yesterday's, a little bit higher than yesterday's, but still, in my opinion, on decreasing volume. So if this is signaling, this HSI arrow is signaling a reversal back up to test terminal here and get above OB and then hop, that is still, in my opinion, too early to tell. But if it is starting, we have to see what those levels are. So a lot of the things is going to be dependent on the data that come out tomorrow for GDP and PCE on Friday. So if it is bullish, you can expect maybe tomorrow, Friday, to fill this gap. SPY did attempt to try to fill this gap at 380, call it 380, it's at around 388. Exactly 387.89. It did fill that to fill that gap, but if it is bullish, you can potentially tomorrow see off of GDP to test that 390.19 level where the 50 EMA and the 13 EMA is at. If you can somehow get above that, the market will try to maybe attempt to trade between 390 and 393.84. And if PCE comes out with more bullish data, you could potentially break up above 393.84, fill that gap around 385, and for the most bullish case scenario for SPY, in my opinion, you need to break 396.13, so you could possibly try an attempt to see the back SPY in the 400 levels and then see terminal at 407.68. So that is for your most bullish case scenario. For your bearish case scenario, if PCE and GDP, tomorrow is GDP, is bearish, you could potentially come back down, test 383.90. If you lose that, you fill this gap here around 382, and then possibly test that 381.74 again. And that will leave us left with PCE on Friday. And if that is bearish and you lose that 381.74, you can potentially come back and test 379.06, in which case, if you lose that, you can possibly start looking at target 2 at 355.17. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on in the market right now. It has been completely oversold on a lot of the tickers here. So one of the things that could be happening right now is everything is getting cooled down, with RSI cooling down. And then, if there is bearish data coming out, that resets everything, and then you can see another leg down. Or if it's bullish data, you can expect that Christmas rally, that Santa rally that everybody has been talking about. But that is all going to be dependent on, in my opinion, off of the data that we get this week. So keep an eye out on that. Jumping over to the triple Qs here. The triple Qs here off of the bullish butterfly pattern also has an HSI arrow triggered. So if this is again signaling that it's potentially reversing here, you want to get above 276.85, where you'll get some chop all the way up to the 50 EMA here at 281.82. Off of bullish data. If you get above that, the next target would be target 1 at 289.07. Continuation on that on PCE data, more bullish, you want to get above 293.26, and then maybe start thinking about testing that target 2 where that gap fill is for the triple Qs around 308. Obviously that's on bullish data, but if it's bearish data, again, you want to come down here. If it is bearish, you probably test XA here at 265.05. Losing 265.05, the last level of support I have here for the triple Qs is 260.14, and then coming down to test hop. Losing hop will obviously start creating lower lows, but again, that's all on what the data comes out the next few days. The volume here is on decreasing volume, so it's kind of a tight range, key critical levels, and I think there's going to be some chop, in my opinion, up until Friday, but we will see. The Dow Jones here, the diamonds, finished up 1.6% almost for the day, went as high as 334.33, the low being 331.12, closing out the day at 333.60. No HSI arrow triggered here, but what I'm looking here on the daily is on increasing volume, so It did get stopped here at the 21 EMA, and if it's more continuation to the upside here off of bullish data, if you can get above the 21 EMA here, which is around 335, you possibly can come test at 343. If you get bullish data for PCE and you get above 343, you can look at to finish. Is this a gap? This gap is filled, I think. Yes, this gap is filled. So if you get above 343.09, you could potentially start looking to trade between 343 and 357. That's obviously on bullish data, but we will see. That's definitely trading between 357 and 343 will definitely bring us a Santa rally. But if you do fail where you're currently at, you may have to fill this gap here off of bearish data. There is a gap down here around 330. And if you lose 330, in my opinion, you come back down to test target 1 at 322.62, which would be a last level of support before coming back down to 309 here and finish that gap here around 311. So if that happened, if you happen to lose a target, if you're below the the 322.62 level here, that would be coming. The price action would be coming inside the descending broadening wedge again, and you start coming down to test, possibly hop down the line off of bearish data. So it is still bullish. It looks still bullish on the Dow Jones here. It is at a key level here though, so we will definitely see what the data has to say before any move to the upside or to the downside. Jumping over to the VIX here. So the VIX closed out the day a negative 6.57% for the day, closed out at 20.06. So it did lose terminal here and is looking like it's coming off of HSIO that was triggered here back on Tuesday the 13th. So if it loses this level here, it looks like it wants to test 1739. 1739 would be very bullish for the market, in which case you could potentially see that Santa rally. But we will see at any given moment. This could just reverse back up back into the mid 20s, 24, 25. In which case, we won't get bullish. We won't get that Santa rally, and instead we will get more continuation to the downside. So this is very important to see what the VIX is going to say within the next couple of days. But jumping over here to Apple here real quick. Remove some of these drawings here. So Apple HSI arrow triggered after being completely oversold on a lot of the levels here, the 4 hours, and it's completely oversold. You are getting increase in volume here to this push up. You almost tested the 9 EMA here at 137, but you did break up above 134.41. So if HSI is signaling here that it's ready to reverse, the next level of resistance would be here at 147.56. Obviously there are some levels before you get up there. And the Santa rally with PCE data and GDP being bullish, you could potentially see down the line to target 2 at 158.48. Off bearish data, you come back down, lose 134, and potentially fill that hop area at 122.40. So what do you want to see for Apple here? You want to get a clean break above 137.69 for a possible attempt at 140. You break up above 140, you could potentially see 140. In my opinion, if you get above 153.10 would be very bullish for Apple. Long ways to go, but we will see what that brings with GDP and PCE. If you get rejected here off of bearish PCE at 134, but you get back down 134.41, you're going to come back and trade between that range of 134 and 121. So key levels here. So we will see what Apple does within the next days to come. Going over to Microsoft here. Microsoft had a 1% day when it went as high as 245.62, low being 240.11, before closing out the day at 244.43. What I did like about Microsoft here, that it bounced off of the 50 SMA and it closed just above that 242.50 level, which has been trading in this range between 248 and 242. So the next level of support that you're going to have to get above here would be around the 246, 247, call it 246.70 level. If you can get above this and then possibly attempt 248.70, you could see 256.12 off of bullish data. And if PCE is bullish, you could see maybe testing target 2 at 278. Obviously, there's resistance here at the 200 EMA and 200 SMA. Off of bearish, After bearish data, you're going to come down below the 242.50 level and then possibly fill this gap here that is yet to fill at 228. You lose that, you can come back down, test hop at 210 off of bearish data. So interesting to see what Microsoft is doing here. It's kind of holding strong compared to some of the other tickers, but we will see. Jumping over to Tesla here. So Tesla, very interesting levels here for Tesla. There's major capitulation, as you can see. There's no denying that. A lot of volume still coming up here to the sell side. It is completely oversold, so at any given moment this could possibly find a short-term bottom and just decide to rip and continuation to the upside. Jumping over to the 3-day chart here to see the harmonic levels. The harmonic levels is looking for 113.12 at hop. The 3-day chart here, the RSI still has more room to the downside, and HSI is not oversold yet as well. So depending on what the data comes out, if the data comes out bearish, you could potentially see Tesla here at 113. Crazy to say that, but that is what the harmonics are saying off of this bullish Gartley here. We are obviously on a type 2 reaction, no clear signs of a type 1 reaction. On daily, we didn't even get a HSI arrow triggered. We got an HSI arrow triggered to the downside here for that continuation, for that push to the downside. So off the 3-day, nothing yet. You know, you have your SMAs. You had a death cross here. The SMA crossed over here back on the 7th of December, and you have the you have the death cross approaching on the EMAs now. So could that potentially bring that down to 113.12? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. This is obviously off the 3-day chart, so that's going to take a little bit of time for that to happen, but that could speed the process off of bearish data if we do get that. So very key levels here off of Tesla here. Does not look bullish at all, but off of bullish data and Santa Rally, you could have this come back up really fast. So we will see if that happens, but does not look good in my opinion for Tesla. Has lost a lot of major key levels here and a lot of gap downs down below, but we will see for that. Amazon here on the 1-day, Amazon also holding on to this level here I have at 85, 87, just broke up above that. Definitely doesn't like being traded in between that $85 range and $81, because if it loses that, you can come down at 81. I think capitulation will start on Amazon if it loses 81.30. You still don't have any indication here if it's trying to come back and do a type 1 reaction at the hop. You have a lot of resistance here on Amazon. Does not look good in my opinion, but obviously bullish data. If you can get above 288 and then $90 off of 21 EMA, hop at 96. Bullish data, PCE, maybe fill the gap at 110. I do think if a Santa Rally happens, you're going to have a crazy move to the upside, in which case a lot of things get filled and everything resets. So off of bearish data, I have the last level here for 81.30 before capitulation starts on Amazon, and then who knows how low that can go. But you could possibly see Amazon in the $70, $60 range should it continue to go further, to lose more downside. So jumping over here to Google, going to the daily chart. Google here also trying to hold on. Today's volume is on increasing volume from yesterday's close, but it's on decreasing volume compared to last week. No signal here of HSI arrow triggering here to the upside. EMAs are curling down. We will see, obviously, again, bullish data, possibly test 97.72 and then 103.50. Off of bearish data, you can come back, test hop at 84.79, fill this gap here at 83.30, and then the other gap here around $80. Losing to $80 here, 79.02 specifically. It has been trading in the past in between 79 and 73. So capitulation, in my opinion, for Google starts at 73.28 should it go down there off of bearish data. But we will keep an eye out on that. So that is all I have for you guys. Short video today. I will be streaming tomorrow 15 minutes before close, so if you want to follow me on that, look at my Twitch below, and the link to my Twitch is on the description box. And if you like this type of content, please consider giving me a like, subscribing to the channel. It does help me out. I really do appreciate you guys. But having said that, hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and take it easy, buddy. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Peace.